I'm Don Salter, Santa Rosa County Commissioner, District 3, and that's the north end of the county. I'm also chairman of our Public Works Committee. I also want to recognize some of our fellow commissioners today. I know the chairman of our board, Commissioner Bob Cole, is with us. He'll speak briefly in a few minutes, and I did say briefly. And here comes Vice Chairman Commissioner Sam Parker. He's always running late, but he makes it. I want to give you a brief recap. Also, let me introduce Ed Carson. Ed is the chairman of our Citizens Oversight Committee for the half-cent sales tax. So I want to thank Ed for all his hard work. I also want to recognize Marissa Simmons, who's representing the Chumuckla Sports Association today. They're responsible for all the programs out here and making sure that the building and the equipment is maintained in an orderly manner. Give you a little background about this project today. First of all, I want to thank all the citizens of Santa Rosa County for supporting last year the half-cent sales tax. It takes the pressure off your property taxes, and it allows projects like this to be done. This is about $140-something thousand project, and we would not have been able to do it out of general revenue. We had to have access to that half-cent sales tax, and this is just one of many projects that Commissioner Cole will address later on in the program. This project upgrades the old 14-year-old playground that was here, which was built right after the Chumuckla Community Center. I was first elected to office in the year 2000, and all I heard from people in Chumuckla was, "We don't get anything up here." I said, "Well, you need to ask." So we put together a little planning committee, and I told them, I said, "Tell me what you need, what you want, and prioritize it." And the first thing they said they wanted was a new community center. So the community center behind me to the right, that was the first county-sponsored community center in Santa Rosa County, and it was dedicated in 2002. The park today will have equipment for 2 different age groups, 2 through 5. And I have 2 little grandchildren, one's 5, one's 2, so I know they can be tough. And also 5 through 12. It includes ADA upgrades to the park, and restroom improvements will be coming soon. Tammy Simmons is going to do a total renovation on the restrooms, make them very, very nice for you. The project, once again, is $140,930, came from the local option sales tax. I want to recognize a lot of the county employees who worked on this project. Here again, we did a contract with a playground equipment company to install the equipment. But there was a lot of hard work that went into the foundation and different things. Steve Ward just told me a few minutes ago that all his work can't be seen because it's underneath. It's the foundation. So if Steve's work fails, everything will collapse. So thank you, Steve. First of all, I want to recognize Steve Furman, our Public Works Director. Raise your hand, Stephen. Thank you for all your hard work and support. Parks Department, a lady who works harder than anybody I know of in the county to make these kind of projects happen, and that's Miss Tammy Simmons, Administrative Service Manager. Tammy, raise your hand. There she is, standing by the power pole. Doyle Godwin, Superintendent for Parks. Thank you, Doyle. You can see Doyle in all the different parks at any given time. Wade Cantrell, Hunter Davis, Jerry Eubank, Michael Golby, Chris Holland, Wesley Settle, Drainage Crew, Steve Ward, Superintendent, there he is right back there again, from downtown Allentown. Travis Bell, Jeffrey Grafton, and Joe Vance. Let's give all these people a round of applause for their hard work. So here again, without them, we wouldn't be here today. Before I turn it over to Commissioner Cole, briefly, the old school, if you notice the front of the community center, it was pretty much done by the late great Easter Harris, who is Marissa Simmons' grandfather. Easter and some of his brothers did all the brickwork on the front of the community center, and it's in the image of the old school. That used to be the Chumuckla High School. I was reminded a few minutes ago the last graduating class was 1983. And I'll have you know that in 1944, and no, Sam Parker, I wasn't here then, the basketball team for Chumuckla won the state championship. And there's a funny story that goes behind it. The boys had always played barefooted. So in order to go to the state and participate in the state playoff, they had to raise money to buy tennis shoes. Amazing. I want to recognize our county administrator, to be soon, Dan Siebert. Thank you, Dan, for all your hard work and support. And I have you to know I got to talk to your wife early, and she told me who is in charge. All right, at this time, before we cut the ribbon, I want to introduce the chairman of our board, Commissioner Bob Cole.
Wonder he didn't say briefly again. I've been working with Don now for 15 years, and one of the very first things I got to do was come up here when the community center was open. At that time I was still a candidate, and Congressman Miller's wife introduced me to a lot of you folks up here as the next county commissioner for District 2. So I appreciate her support, and I appreciate all y'all's support. 57 vehicles from the Sheriff's Office have been bought with the half-cent local option sales tax. A Navarre radio antenna to improve reception for our deputies and first responders was purchased and put up last March. Sweet Bay Bridge in Pace opened on March 16th. A new park lighting installed at Tiger Point Park this month. Baghdad Millside Park restrooms are opening next week. And Florida Town Park and Optimus Park improvements are coming soon. And all this is thanks to you for approving a half-cent local option sales tax. And I've got to talk to the Future Farmers of America and the 4-H last week at the farm banquet at the new June 8th wedding barn out there. And one of the things that came up was the fact that the sheriff wants to put this same coin that you see over here on the back of his patrol cars. Well, nobody has a problem with that, and it'll remind everybody just where the dollars come from for those patrol cars. But the other thing our sheriff wants to do is put "In God We Trust" on the back of those cars. How do y'all feel about that? Yeah. I'll pass that on to Sheriff Johnson because he's already getting pushback from it. And he said, when I get a federal court order, I'll think about it. So I appreciate that. Folks, as Don reminded me to be brief because I think we're getting some antsy youngins up here, and I know Don wants to get on that sliding board just quick as he can. So again, thank y'all for coming out. Thank you for the opportunity of being your county commissioner.